Hello, everyone, and welcome to Telling Tales. We make atmospheric role-playing games and stream them for you here on the internet, specifically on Twitch, which you're probably watching right now, but maybe not. Hi, tonight is Blades in the Dark, as it always is on Tuesdays. And before I go into any of our promo or tell you any more about the channel, as usual, we will welcome our stream manager, Steve, the trusty mastermind of Tuesday nights. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Mastermind, eh?
Mastermind. That's what I said. And it's too late to take it back now. Steve is going to be puttering away behind the scenes, moving around cams and art and moderating chat and stuff like that. So if you're horrible or a bot, Steve's finger will be the one that destroys you. I think that's a good way to summarize that.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the old promo down below. There's a bunch of links. There's links to YouTube and links to Twitch. You're watching on one. Please check out the other one. There's links to our social media, links to our Discord where you can join up and talk to us about all things role-playing, links to our Patreon if you fancy supporting us and getting something in return, character creation videos. The one for Blades in the Dark just went live today, in fact. Today or yesterday? Today. Probably today. And there's a bunch of other stuff. There's GM notes and various bits and pieces, so go check it out. We run 3 weekly shows. Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, each of them starting at 8 o'clock in the evening, BST. Monday is Call of Cthulhu, Tuesday is this, Blades in the Dark, and Wednesday is Simbaroom. In addition to that, we run monthly one-shots on usually the first Saturday of every month, the most recent of which was this Saturday just gone, in which Pierre ran a lovely game of Dungeon World. But we've run various things as one-shots, Alien, Troika, Mortborg, The Expanse, Honey Heist, a number of things, and they're all available in VOD form over on our YouTube. There we go. There's the promo out of the way. Good. Let's start bringing on the players and talking about Blades in the Dark, shall we? And we'll start by bringing on someone who's unfortunately had to miss out on the last 2 sessions, but he's back now. So fans of Sam fans, as I know you call yourselves, rejoice, for he has returned. Hi, Sam.
They don't exist, but...
Oh, they do. They do.
I hope those imaginary people are rejoicing. Yeah, I'm back. I'm very pleased to be back. I've definitely missed seeing everything that we get up to, all our very daring escapades. I'm looking forward to hearing what we actually did while I wasn't here. I'm hoping...
Yeah. How was your time away with Elon and Jeff?
It was good. Relaxed,
chilled.
Yeah, just as you do with those kind of people.
Yeah, just a real chill time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam plays Silver, the group's slide, kind of a deceiver and manipulator and con lady of sorts. But let's bring on the others and start talking about the things that happened last week. And we're going to start with Pierre. Pierre plays Echo, the group's lurk, kind of sneaky thieves person. Yeah. Hi, Pierre. What was the score last week all about?
Yeah, so we'd heard that a group called the Ironborn, who we'd had a brief run-in with before, not in any negative way, were about to do some sort of heist of some description, and that seemed like a profitable opportunity. They were allies of the Grinders, who we are currently paying rent to, and so we felt like we should just sort of like muscle in on that and try and get a piece of the action, because that sounded like a good idea. But because the Ironborn are, well, quite scary as individuals go, we thought we better go with them rather than try and just sort of screw them over. So we went to see Ulf Ironborn, who's this absolutely enormous, very scary, but, hench blacksmith dude, who gave us... who basically agreed that we could provide some much-needed transport for the goods at Penderen's, which was a big warehouse filled with supplies of various kinds. We thought, well, let's be prepared. Let's do this precisely so that we don't have to shed too much blood. Because the Ironborn's plan was just to storm the place, blunt force trauma, destroy everything, kill everyone that they could see. But we thought we might be able to do it in a bit of a sort of cleverer way. So we got bricks on the inside because they were short of staff due to a plague that had been dealing with the rest of their security. And bricks was going to get us all in, and we were going to, basically do some sort of con from the inside via our ingenious deception.
Didn't really turn out that way, though, did it?
I mean, maybe from the way I was setting that up, it did seem that way.
Yeah. Well, to let us know how that went off, let's bring on our next player. Let's bring on John, who plays Bricks, the Keeper's resident cutter, all around big neck breaker of a dude. And you were on the inside there, Bricks, and surely nothing could have gone wrong.
Of course not. And definitely not someone turning up at an inopportune moment and almost everyone dying. Basically, after about 10 hours of my work shift, the keepers rolled up to the outside of the warehouse. I was about ready to let them in when, like across the street, what seemed like entire army of the Ironborn also showed up, ran towards the warehouse, trampling or almost trampling the keepers and their goats in the process. We managed to get the players inside and leave Ogden and Nicholas, our rovers.
While I love the name Ogden for a Blades in the Dark character, yeah, Odgar. And Nicholas, our favourite.
Yeah.
Our favourite.
They were left to bring the carriage around with some difficulty, what with the pitched battle that suddenly developed right around them. And there was a lot of stabbing and a lot of blood and a lot of dead guards.
Not very professional.
And at least one dead goat.
Yes.
That was the tragedy there.
That was the real tragedy of the entire thing. And to explain how the heist kind of went down as a whole and kind of how it all ended, let's bring on Justin. Justin is the final member of the regular Keepers crew. He plays 3 sheets, our hound. And yeah. How'd it go down, Justin?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Echo and 3 sheets said about nabbing stuff for the ground floor, the general goods area, found some choice items, and then Bricks got about organising our notably unreliable and wild crew to ransack this warehouse. I think maybe they'd never worked a day in their lives because they did not have a good eye for selecting any items that would be valuable. Then
Nicholas only has time for stabbing. That's what he knows. That's what he's good at.
Echo headed up to the top floor and started taking some choice items from there, including a beautiful dress. And 3 sheets grabbed some more barrels of what looked like expensive whale oil. Leviathan oil. And then we all got back and counted our spoils. For 3 sheets and Echo's work, there was brilliant pickings, including the till of the storefront. Bricks' crew, what could they say for themselves?
Don't call them Bricks' crew.
They bagged barrels of bad beans. Bad bean barrels. Beans and oil, and one definitely better than the other. I would say, Justin, I think that was an excellent recap, but you missed the most important part, which was 3 sheets sort of stumbling across the violent deputy of the Ironborn about to go extremely
just horribly violent on the obstreperous old lady who runs Penderyn's, and before you defuse the situation by picking her up and putting her on a shelf.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. 3 sheets would have killed her earlier in the score, like very happily, but at that point it seemed unnecessary. And I don't think 3 sheets has got a soft side to him. I don't think that's what's happening.
You just saw that there was a downside to escalating the situation, and
it was a cold calculation. He has no emotions, only a love of the stupor of drugs.
Yes. So there we go. That was the events of last week. And just so you know, Sam, just as a random thing, the week before that, we exercised a battleship. So that was fun.
Did we lose any goats on that one that no one's told me about?
No goats lost on that. That was up the shoreline in the Deathlands. And a spooky time was had by all. Especially Echo, who did both an amazing thing and got horribly hurt doing it. So
that's completely normal for Echo. That's just a regular
standard Echo material. So, what are we doing this week? Well, in my little simulation of the town of Doskvol, a number of things have been happening, and I'll just go through some events that have happened recently in Doskvol, just give you guys out there a little bit of context as the decisions these people have been making on what to do next. So, extra Doskvol news this week. Word has been going around the city that the elite cadre of noble Leviathan hunters that Doskvol and the Empire rely on for fuel have been coming up short. Maybe even that the traditional hunting grounds have run dry. The Ministry of Preservation have been releasing newsletters commenting on the matter, and the Leviathan hunters unfavorably. And panic and unrest are slowly building. So far, the nobles have failed to publicly comment on the rumours. Now, I'm not saying that the keepers have put one and one together to make two here, but they may have done, because, as far as I'm aware, we have learned who Dalmor works for, yes? Would anyone care to even venture the name of the person that Dalmor works for?
Strangford.
Yes.
Lord Strangford, who is a
noble Leviathan hunter.
Right. So clearly what you've been doing this with him, and a number of things have linked towards this as well, right? The book that he wanted so badly, that Dalmor wanted so badly, was Leviathan Hunting Grounds, right? And details on where Leviathans could be found. So maybe Strangford is tied up in this. And as a result of that, the score that the guys have picked for this week is one that's been hanging around for a couple of weeks, but they've finally gone for it. A perfume-scented courier accosted Echo on the street with a flatteringly worded request to come meet Dalmor at a safe location on the shores of White Crown. The password for entry is knife work. And this was hustled along a bit. You got a message via Nirix, a none-too-patient one asking whether your working relationship is now over. So that, combined with the events in the city, have led you to think maybe Dalmor's in desperate need, and desperate men are free with their coin. So, shall we pick up with the keepers on their way along the waterways of Doskvol towards those shores of White Crown? White Crown sits atop let's bring up the map at this point, shall we, Steve? So, because I don't think we've been to White Crown before, so there it is, opposite the docks and Brightstone and Silkshore, lurking on the other side of the North Hook Channel, the centre of activity for Doskvol's aristocracy. It sits atop a grand peak on the island across North Hook Channel from the city proper. From this lofty height, the Lord Governor's stronghold oversees all, flanked by the grand estates of the most powerful nobility and the extravagantly appointed campus of Doskvol Academy. White Crown is a rich and rarefied world unto itself. Most citizens live out their entire lives in the city without ever once crossing the bridge to the glittering spires of wealth and power. And the Lord Governor's stronghold is there. You can see kind of at the center at the top, a big unfolding mass of stone and metal. And over to the left, that kind of circle you see on the promontory, why That is North Hook Lighthouse, the actual functioning lighthouse of Doskvol, which replaced the one that you dwell in a long time ago, far more long ago than anyone living could remember. And you are moving close to the shore of White Crown now, scooting along at night time towards the destination that Dalmor has set for you. You can see ahead of you there is a set of quite fancy white stone terraces leading up from the roiling black water of the shore of White Crown, and a number of sort of piers, maybe a little bit worse for wear, are alongside those terraces. And as you secure your craft onto these terraces, you see just a little way up with a sort of little canvas shelter to shield him from the rain is one individual dressed in quite fancy clothes who has a number of lanterns around him and is sort of painting the view he can see on the other side of the channel of the docks. He looks at you with sort of distrust and suspicion, as any rich individual would aim at people of your status setting foot on White Crown, and then looks away swiftly, obviously deciding that discretion is the better part of valor as to inquiring what you are up to. You are somewhat surprised that he can even see anything on the other side of the channel, because right now there is pouring rain coming from the night sky, thrumming on the channel surface and on the white stone of the terrace. Ahead of you, a relatively small, decrepit-looking boathouse, and along the terrace towards it, puddles of water and occasional small oil slicks.
Grim.
I guess let's head towards the boathouse.
So the four of you proceed onwards. Are the rovers with you? Are Odgar and Nicholas keeping the boat safe, or have you kind of left them?
We can leave them. We can leave Odgar on the boat. Nicholas, is it good idea to take him somewhere where you could stab someone important?
Oh, I was just asking if they were with you. I definitely wasn't assuming you were going to bring Nicholas to a meeting with a client.
No, but Nicholas shouldn't even be anywhere near the island. You know what
Probably
I mean?
not. No.
You know, leave him in the.
That painter's going to end up floating face down in the channel if Nicholas is around.
Exactly.
I think it might be an idea to leave them both behind. This seems quite important. I don't know if we want some wild and unreliable people tagging along,
Sure.
really.
I think that's a good idea. You reach the boathouse. As I said, it looks quite abandoned and slightly decrepit. There is a wooden door that's shut on it and is kind of rattling slightly in the hinges from the wind and the rain. Who's going to knock, or just open the door?
I'm going to hold back from knocking because, I don't like this.
I'm going to knock and then immediately wait, no, he knocked on our door. I'm going to knock.
Okay.
Cool. Glad someone did.
You thump on the door. I can't imagine Bricks,
It was not delicate.
lightly tapping it with his fingertip or anything. You bang on the door, and a gruff voice from behind it says, "What's the word?"
Knife work?
There is a rattling, and the door, evidently a bar is lifted. The door is opened, and inside is a relatively small space, rapidly filling up with smoke from a small, like a little fire that's been set in the only stone part of the building, the kind of chimney and stove. Dalmor is stood looking very uncomfortable, quite near it, warming his hands with his fancy cane, leant on a table nearby, as always, dressed head to toe in the finest of regalia, although tonight it's a little bit damp. His oil curls seem a bit sagging, and as he turns and looks at you, you kind of see him first lit by the firelight, and those colourless irises of his look oddly reflective, almost like cat's eyes and dark. There is a couple of very large individuals with him who close the door behind you and just kind of stand there with their arms crossed.
I sort of look around, seeing if there would be any other exits to this boathouse, or if it's going to be back behind us.
There's a couple of boarded up windows.
Okay.
I give a couple of the mussels a bit of an eye, and basically stick close to the group as like a huge meaty human shield.
Sure. Dalmor tosses a couple of small sticks on the fire, and as he holds his hands out to warm them again, says, "All right, well, I suppose better late than never. We have a job for you if you're interested, and I know you don't have any problem with getting your hands dirty."
Yeah, that's right, and we certainly are interested. That's why we've come all the way out to White Crown.
Three Sheets is going to sit next to the fire and start warming himself unceremoniously.
Dalmor kind of nods and says, "Well, yes, let's not stand on ceremony." He's shivering slightly next to the fire. There is a man, a captain of a ship on patrol far out in the harbour. We require folk of skill and subtlety to get to that ship, get on it, and ensure his passage.
Is this a final passage?
The most final of passages, Mr. Three Sheets.
And what kind of ship is this?
He kind of glances around at the heavies a little bit and says, "'Tis a hunter, a Leviathan hunter. And he is a noble captain, Lord Lomond. One of the smaller houses, but still his lineage is respected."
It's a very large job, I would say.
There is considerable risk, although he is running his ship on something of a skeleton crew.
We have experience of ships crewed by skeleton staff.
Nice. Well, it is called the Vengeful Hydra. It is the only one patrolling the waters out there. It needs to be found or tracked. I cannot tell you the exact location, but it is the only Leviathan hunter active at the moment. There is some further complications. Once the captain is dealt with, you are required to destroy all his papers and documentation thoroughly. And I mean destroy, gentlemen. I don't care if you sink it, if you burn it, whatever you do, that documentation should not leave that ship other than by going into the drink. Do I make myself understood?
What of the rest of the crew?
He has a bodyguard. Her name is Zamira. While we do not have an official policy on her, it would be a personal favour to me if she could be spared. And while I'm sure destroying a Leviathan hunter may be beyond even your capability, well, please do not. That ship is valuable. As for other crew, do what you will.
Is there any time frame in which this needs to be carried out?
As soon as humanly possible. tonight, if possible.
I was really afraid you were going to say that, but I'm sure that we can manage.
We've already delayed this somewhat, so I'm sure we can accommodate swift turnaround time.
Well, Lomond is causing trouble. He is claiming untruths to the rags of the press, and, well, I'm sure you do not wish to see this city unsettled any more than the rest of us do.
Has it ever been settled?
I suppose not, Mr. Bricks. I suppose not.
And payment?
Considerable.
I
On
also
return.
I also take it that we will not face any reprisals from this noble house that we are getting involved in.
Well, certainly not if they do not know it was you. With Loman's death, his house's resources will diminish. They have not finished paying off the vengeful Hydra. They will no longer have the craft. They should not be dangerous foes once he is disposed of, but regardless, it may be just as well to not advertise your identities when doing it.
Doesn't have a vengeful young son soon to come of age who might hunt us down.
No, just distant cousins. And our protection is worth more than their threat, regardless.
We can work with that.
Is there anything else you know about this ship that might allow us some advantage?
Well, funny you should say that. There is a midshipman with considerable debts. He knows you're coming. As to how you could possibly leverage that, I do not know. He's happy to let you on board. He says he should be on deck most of the time, but with the situation being what it was, we wanted to do this while it was docked. But time has escaped us.
Unfortunate, but still, sure this midshipman will be a great help.
How do we recognise
so.
which midshipman?
I don't know. They all look the same to me. It's up to you whether you wish to take advantage of this or not. I suppose it carries its own risks if you pick the wrong individual.
Well, we have ways.
Terrible things happen at ships. On ships.
At sea. That's
what I meant.
Yeah, it's been so long since we've been on the waves, Bricks. We've forgotten even our own nautical expressions.
Dalmor, as you say that, Bricks and Three Sheets, Dalmor gets a small kind of vial of what looks like, well, it's like a small kind of liqueur glass out of his pocket, and kind of thumbs it open, tips it into his mouth, and goes, "Here is hoping, gentlemen." He tucks it away, lifts his cane up, and says, "Very well. I would leave the shores of White Crown sooner rather than later, but our arrangements are done." He walks towards the door, which one of the heavies opens for him. He tuts at the rain still pouring down outside and kind of drumming on the roof of the boathouse, and then steps out into the night.
Okay. I guess we leave.
On the boat.
Sure. All right then. What are our thoughts on how we're doing this, and what are the preparatory actions we are taking?
So I think identifying this midshipman would be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to find someone who, well, first trying to find the midshipman of this ship in general, and then I guess trying to identify which one has serious debts,
So kind of trying to scout out along the docks and get the name of someone or a description so you can
or maybe
sort of narrow it down a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Bricks is familiar with the gambling circuit, maybe going for who has debts and is a midshipman.
Yeah,
might be a good angle.
Yeah.
Presumably, we also want to just try and find the ship.
Yeah. Are there nautical maps or anything like that?
Yeah, I think you could reasonably find those. Although whether those would kind of narrow down a patrol route for you or not is another matter. You don't even know what they're patrolling for.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe finding rumours is the more important thing.
I think if all of the other Leviathan ships are at port, we might be able to find some of the other crews and ask them about where they think the ship would be.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
We also could inquire at the docks about how many were on the ship when it left, so we could get an idea about whether or not the ship has a number of people in it that are, that we could take care of. If it's a very skeleton crew, we might be able to overpower them with the help of the rovers.
I mean, I think I'm right in saying that Three Sheets and Bricks were Leviathan hunting sailors before.
Yeah.
Or at least sailers who may have,
sailers willing to get on any boat whatsoever.
Sure.
I was specifically Leviathan hunter.
I mean, the skeleton crew of an average Leviathan hunting ship is in triple figures. The skeleton crew.
Right. So these are
Leviathan hunter ships are colossal. They have to drag absurd abyssal monstrosities out of the sea and butcher them, and they are colossal.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that it would be difficult physically to get on board one of these from our little ship?
You would certainly need a way of clambering up, yeah.
Okay.
But perhaps the midshipman can help you with that. And also, a lot of these Leviathan hunting ships are built, they're more like small floating towns or villages than traditional ships, and often their hulls are weathered and scarred and decorated with centuries of bizarre ornamentation and damage and stuff. And often the hull can be climbed relatively easily, not without danger, obviously, not the least of which is plunging down into the
no, we don't need to talk about that.
No. Probably not. But the point is that ways and means could certainly be found.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go for the first role of basically trying to track down the midshipman. I'm going to be pretending that this midshipman owes me a gambling debt,
Right.
but he's at sea, and
so you're trying to find who might pay it for him, or
or at least find a name,
or the dress.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
And presumably trying to do that in the taverns on the docks or various, or your gambling holes, down near Iron Hook Prison and on the docks and various places.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think I'm welcome back in the casino anytime soon, but...
Sure. I do not have a devil's bargain for you.
Okay. Does anyone want to assist?
I'll assist.
Okay.
It's a stress for Echo.
Yep.
Rolled a 6.
Nice.
Yeah, it really does not take much asking around at all to find out who this must be. There is a notorious gambler who is also a midshipman, who is also well known to be in a colossal amount of debt. Let's call him Boris. That isn't meant to be political commentary. But let's make it not political commentary by adding a Z on the end as well. Boris.
Sure, Boris. Thanks,
Boris.
Boris. Porridge.
So, he's currently at sea because no one can find him. Either that or he's at the bottom of a canal. And yeah, that seems to be him. You do you want like a description of him and stuff?
Yes.
No, I've got a very clear idea in my mind of what Boris
Sure.
looks like.
Sure. Again, to make it, he's tall and slender.
Sure.
And
Sure.
has
And a
kind
good
of
guy.
has a kind of very pockmarked face. Whether you'll be able to see that from like your little barge to the top to the top deck of a Leviathan Hunter is another matter. But
And
for what
Dalmor
it's worth.
said that he knew we were coming, so
Yes.
he's like we already have sort of some amount of leverage
Yeah.
on him via Dalmor.
Sure, it sounds like maybe some agreement has happened between Dalmor and him.
These huge Leviathan Hunter ships, they must need resupply or something from the mainland, right? If they're out there for long periods of time.
They have
Like,
colossal amounts of storage. They tend to take it out with them.
So is it unusual for boats to be coming and going from the ship?
Mm-hmm. Well, apart from the actual, like any, there's usually a number of like small hunter, like harpoon craft that will go out and come back from it, but only when it's actively hunting, and they would know if any have gone out, obviously, because they would have been ordered out. But actually going in and up there, no, not so much.
Are the Leviathan Hunters built in Duskwell, or are they built somewhere else?
Let's say that in the past, a great number of them were built in Duskwell when Duskwell had kind of really much more active industry, kind of like a thriving center of commerce and industry. But since Duskwell has sort of diminished following the catastrophe and otherwise, like those have kind of fallen apart, and now they're, I envision them as not being built anymore. Like they're all kind of handed down and have just been patched into these monstrous vessels.
Sorry, I thought we weren't doing political commentary.
Yeah. Duskwell is Liverpool. No.
Okay.
Duskwell is Glasgow. Duskwell, any number of British towns. Yes.
So is there? I guess the thing is, we're going to have to get onto this ship. It seems like there's no way to get a ship to sail up to one of these Leviathan Hunters without it being seen.
I mean, it's very dark out there on the ocean, and you can navigate without lights.
If that seems plausible, then that does seem like a reasonable option. The only other alternative I can think of is if we pretended to be one of the members of the like somebody delivering a note from an important
a courier or something along those lines. I mean, that would that would be bold, and it would get you maybe even straight to the captain. But it also is, suspicious. It would definitely be very unusual happenstance,
especially if he then died.
People don't then go out into exactly. People don't go out beyond the harbour if they can help it, because it's tremendously dangerous to do so.
Right.
These are dangerous and unusual times, what with the recent catastrophe. And oil, Leviathan oil being what it is, the market being what
catastrophe?
It is. The shortage of Leviathan oil.
Oh, yes, sure, yeah. Rumours of such.
Rumours of such.
Unsubstantiated.
So on a short notice, do we reckon we can outfit our barge with like dampening all the lights and making it so that we could approach?
Absolutely. It's what you do. The keepers smuggle shit. You can absolutely outfit your barge to be, stealth barge.
Do you think we could buy a case of we could get a case of some fancy booze, and then if we rock up to the ship, we can always look like we're trying to, sell this at a good price to thirsty sailors.
that would be extraordinarily suspicious because you'd be literally miles offshore.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Oh, fair enough then. All right, then let's get to it. So I think
I appreciate the zany caper angle. I do, and you can try it if you want. But
So I guess our method is going to be stealth.
Yeah, seems.
I think you could go with that deception, kind of delivering a message or whatever. It's definitely a lot riskier, I think, from my perspective.
I can see your point.
I think it's a good way in. It's just not a good way out. Because
you deliver a message, you come out. The captain's sleeping. He said not to disturb him.
For a few hours at least.
Just bring our boats around.
Like a lot of documents are on fire in there. No. Just
toasting marshmallows.
So stealth.
Yeah, I think it has to be
possibly. I believe that there were a couple of other roles being talked about. There was one for talking to other sailors at the docks and verifying where the patrol route might be, and also like the state of the crew and stuff like that.
3 Sheets is happy to do that.
I think was 3 Sheets' proposition. I haven't got a devil's bargain for you. Does anyone else want to assist?
Would I be able to assist as well as doing my thing?
Yeah,
or is that
course.
too short?
Yeah. No.
I will assist.
Okay. That's an extra stress for
3
you.
dice.
And obviously you can push yourself as well. I think you can push and get assistance, right? It's just you can't push and devil's bargain.
I'm not going to push. How much stress have I got, actually? I've currently got 2 stress. I'm not going to push. I'm going to save that stress. I got 6, 4, and a 3, so...
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You talk to enough sailors to find out this patrol that's happening is often done by one of the Leviathan hunter fleet. And essentially, it seems to be kind of looking out for signs of Leviathans coming close to Doskvol, which is an opportunity, but also a risk, because they have been known occasionally to attack things on shorelines. And also what they're looking out for, and I promise this isn't intended as political commentary, what they're looking for as well are boats full of Skovlan refugees coming towards Doskvol and the Empire, which they promptly sink.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. Let's not look like that. Let's not look like a...
Yeah, let's not look like a boat of Skovlan refugees. But one of the drunken sailors in one of the taverns scrawls out the rough patrol route for you on a piece of paper. You also find out that the Vengeful Hydra is indeed operating on a skeleton crew, and more than that, it seems to have been hemorrhaging crew and recruits for almost a year, to the point where there are rumors that Lord Lomond is on the outs with the other Leviathan hunters, and they're essentially sabotaging his recruiting prospects and his staff.
Well, that seems incredibly believable.
Given the fact
does,
that is
doesn't
what
it?
we're doing.
Yeah. Given that you're working for another Leviathan hunter and going to kill him. So,
Well, yes.
Well, that's what
Anyway.
you're being paid for
No,
anyway.
I
Whether
mean-
that actually happens or not is entirely a different.
So stealth, skeleton crew, rough idea where it is. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before we?
Yeah. Any other actions?
Is this? It's out. It's not in the channel, is it? It's out.
No, it's out beyond, way beyond the harbour. It was described by Dalmor as being miles out.
Okay, I don't know if this is a thing that anybody knows, but I'd like to just talk with local sailors and ask about the weather and if it's reasonable for us to go out in a tiny barge at the moment.
That sounds like a very good idea.
especially if like maybe the next few nights there might be a very much better night to do it.
Might be a better night. Yeah, absolutely. So, Silver, what kind of action roll would you like for that? Like, it sounds like it might be a bit of a consort, but it's up to you entirely.
I'll go with consort. Just
I've got no bargain for you. Anyone else want to assist or push or what have you?
I'll happily assist.
Okay, it's an extra stress for Echo, and go for it.
I help my friends.
Always.
I got a 6, a turn of 4.
All the sixes tonight. So many sixes. Yeah, the forecast is not good. In fact, for the next week or so, driving rain, hail, heavy winds, and thunderstorms are predicted. You can. There's no particular lull that's predicted, and also the weather predicting capabilities of Doskwall are not entirely advanced. But for what it's worth, it doesn't look good. So having that knowledge and preparing the boat for that kind of turbulence and weather would serve you well. So I don't know if you want to make a roll for that to see how well you do, or just we'll say you do it. And, I feel like if you just say you do it, I'll assume it's kind of like a middling, success with it. But if you want to make a roll, maybe you can get one or more of those sixes.
I think I would like to make a roll, but I don't have. Does anyone have Tinker?
I don't think any of us do.
It doesn't have to be Tinker. It can be another one.
We could try and sway someone else to do it.
Well,
Or command someone else to do it, or even finesse. I think is a good choice as well.
We often do use finesse, don't we?
Mm.
Happy to use finesse in this situation.
I think that's a solid. I think that produces like a standard result.
Do you think that we can have some kind of because I've got a kind of camouflage effect in my thing? Is there a way of camouflaging the boat to make use of my ability to get an extra dice on rolling to avoid detection when camouflaged?
Our boat is already camouflaged. Well, apparently that vehicles are concealed at rest,
when at rest.
It says, but we do have the
there is absolutely a way to. I mean, camouflaging it out at sea is just as much dark and black as possible, because that's almost everything out there other than the odd glinting stars somewhere deep below the ocean surface. So, yeah.
I'm happy to roll a finesse roll if anyone wants to assist.
Or do we want to do a group action?
Group action?
To try and get as much chance to a 6 as possible.
I think this is pretty important. Because if the boat just sinks before we even make it to the Leviathan Hunter...
this boat isn't going to sink.
At any point, we're in trouble.
Look, you have 3 sheets. I've seen you blocking up the holes in this ship with like little corks from your bottles of... Yeah, well, okay.
Works, doesn't it?
Let's all
exactly.
Let's all spend a little bit of time.
Got a cork floats, mate. Anyway, I'm happy to make this roll. I'm happy to lead the roll. I'm happy to not lead the roll.
I want to do a group action.
Okay.
I'm happy to do a group
It sounds like
action.
a good idea.
Okay.
So is everyone going to do this? Everyone going to roll finesse and end up giving Justin 4 stress?
Please do.
Let's
Roll
go for
6.
it. Let's do it.
5.
3 to 1.
I got a 6.
So 3.
So that's only 1 stress for Justin from 3 sheets own actions. And we got 6s. So no one got a critical, did they? No one got 2 6s.
Nope.
So
No.
Okay. 3 sheets, despite you... Maybe your hands are still shaking from your last evening deep in the bowels of the Red Lantern, but the others, fortunately, managed to put together really some good stormproofing and camouflage, such as it is on the ship. A lot of the weight is taken out of it to make it as light and nippy on the water as possible. And there's a lot of sheeting over it, and even and also you strip some of the copper wiring and some of the lead and some of the extraneous bits of metal off the ship to try as much as you can to avoid being struck by lightning, which wouldn't be good. Would not be good.
That would be good.
So,
that would be good.
Generally speaking, a very good job of all that. So that's, I think, 4 6s on that preparatory stuff. So I think it's around time we start rolling for engagement here, folks.
Please.
And you got the 1 die for good luck. And then major advantages. Here we go. You have
Super
prepped
kit
the
that
ship really well. You have learned where the patrols are out in the ocean. You have Where do I want to pick up this engagement? Do I want to do it as you're approaching them? You know who the midshipman is. Let's put that in there.
You've got a man on the inside.
You have got a man on the inside. So I think, can we think of any other particular... you're as smugglers, you're used to navigating slyly and stealthily.
And I was also going to say the skeleton crew means that it's unlikely that all parts of the ship are on watch. You know, they've probably not got a full complement of...
I would accept that if you knew which parts of them weren't. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And I'm going to remove one for the horrible visibility out of just the weather conditions out there.
Very fair.
Doing this during a storm.
And I will remove one because you are not used to going this far out from the harbour in the bar. It's not built for this at all. So I think that, but you've prepped it as much as you can. So there we go. I think that's 3 dice, unless anyone wants to argue anything else.
I would wonder if the low visibility would also act in our favour, because it means we're less likely to be seen as we're sneaking up.
I think it partially does act in your favour, which is why I didn't remove more dice.
Cool.
Fair enough.
What about for having some Leviathan hunters as part of our crew? They may know which ways to approach from and are not.
You know what? I'll take that.
Good one. Good one, Sam.
I'll take that. Here we go. 4 dice, folks. And let me tell you, you needed them. Because that is a 1, 2 3s, and a 4.
Okay.
So we just start out risky. So here's what I'm going to say. Your plan, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to pilot the ship, pilot your barge out to sea, try and find the rough area of that patrol route, which you'll navigate to, probably with the main help rather of Bricks and 3 Sheets experience on the water, and find that patrol route. Maybe either follow it or just lurk there and wait for the vengeful Hydra to come over the horizon. And when it gets close, try to identify Midshipman Borish, and then try and get aboard. Is that the rough idea? Is there anything I've missed out?
Yep, I think that's our plan.
Yep.
Okay, well, let me tell you. You are out. Let's pick up with you straight out to sea. The rain driving, thunder rolling in the distance, the waves leaving you queasy and kind of wonky on your feet. Even Bricks and 3 Sheets are feeling it. And then over the horizon, after an hour of trying to hold the barge in one position, probably with the aid of Odgar and Nicholas, I don't think you can maybe do this without extra hands holding things in place. You see the shape, the form, the shadow on the horizon of the vengeful Hydra, small for a Leviathan hunter, impossibly huge for almost anything else. It crosses the horizon and starts going, kind of traveling in your general direction. An odd mechanical grinding noise getting louder and louder as it comes closer and closer. You can see the hull, the battered black iron of it, covered in all kinds of odd marine life, whatever the equivalents are in this horrible ocean of barnacles and kind of the hooks from ancient squid embedded into the side of it, pitted with the decoration and folly of 100 different captains over the centuries. And it glides closer and closer to where you are, and you see just on the edge of that towering hull above you, like ramparts, a floating castle in the ocean, you see a figure that you can't really make out, peering over the side and kind of like looking from east to west, before kind of looking down and kind of maybe trying to thinking he sees something in the on the ocean surface ahead of him. What are we going to do?
I'm going to reach overboard and start throwing up.
Are you throwing up from your normal mouth or from the hidden demonic mouth shrouded under your scarf?
The hidden demonic mouth is not throwing up. I'm throwing up. The hidden demonic mouth is laughing.
That's
Sure.
just That's just messed up, guys.
Nice.
Is the figure on the deck particularly tall and slender?
Why don't you give me a roll to try and figure that out?
Perhaps a survey roll.
I'm going to
Seems an
dial.
appropriate
Study.
roll.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I can go for a.
Wreck.
Let's go for a survey. I don't think
Sure.
wreck. But you know what? I will. Don't have a preset thing for weight, but I will use the nautical spyglass that I have brought with me as we're going out to sea, and it seems like it might be useful.
Yeah. Let's do that. So what are you rolling at? Are you rolling survey?
I was rolling survey.
Rolling survey. Is anyone helping, or I will offer you a devil's bargain for, and you'll never guess what, folks.
Please, a stick of a clock, please.
Tick of a
Tick of a
clock.
clock.
Tick of a clock. No bad clocks.
I am not going to get caught out in the middle of the freaking sea by Leviathan Hunter. There'll be no clock sticking. The clocks will stop tonight. Okay, I want stopped clocks.
Sure.
Offer them all to me. Offer them all to me.
Will not accept the devil's
You're not
bargain.
taking the tick of a clock. That's absolutely fine. Is anyone helping? Are you pushing yourself? Anything like that?
I'm not pushing myself, partly because I've already rolled and it feels cheaty for me to decide to do anything extra.
Yeah.
But
I will assist you. I'll finish throwing up over the side of this boat.
Maybe
like
we can lean on you.
I'm open to it because I don't find it particularly cheaty. But should we, given that John's already rolled?
Well, I mean,
I don't care. If you've already
Go
rolled,
for it.
we don't know whether it's a good roll or a bad roll. So
Sure, yeah.
I got
All right,
caught up and forgot about assistance.
Okay,
it's not a good roll, folks.
Okay.
So that
Okay,
extra
it was a
die
2.
might help you there.
yeah, but I
Oh,
thought
so someone is assisting me.
Yes, Pierre is assisting, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
you can lean on
That
him
was a
while
4.
he pills.
So it's slightly
That's
better.
a 4, so slightly better.
Nice.
Slightly better. And as your complication, I'm going to give you a tick of the clock. So you sort of peer up. You think that this individual looks lanky and tall, and in a crack of lightning that sharply illuminates the monstrous hull of the Leviathan Hunter. You can just about make out all that way above you that maybe this man has a pockmarked face.
I mean, let's.
I will put down the spyglass. I think that's him.
Can I? If we have like a lantern that is like shrouded in some way, can we just
Sure,
like,
yeah, like that you can
Yeah.
like shutter and
just
open
like
and stuff.
briefly
Just like-
reveal?
Sure. As soon as you do that, the individual up on the deck of the Vengeful Hydra kind of bends down and starts rummaging, and then kind of you can see again in the flashes of lightning him kind of like looking around and then just like seemingly kicking something that's flickers and spirals in the air as it drops down and until the end of it splashes down in the ocean. He has seemingly kicked a rope down that's a very, very long one that makes its way to the ocean surface. And when the lightning kind of flashes again, he's gone.
Cool. So he shoots us up the rope, and also has a normal load. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, we should decide those loads, right? Yeah, that's the thing to do.
Light. The advantage of light is that it's harder to detect you, or like
Yeah,
move
it's
faster.
mainly around like detection and stuff. You don't get like penalties or anything like that. So there's an argument here that if they see you, they will immediately know you're not meant to be there. So maybe there's an advantage in just going heavy and saying screw it. But it's entirely up to you guys.
I get the impression it's also speed though. So it like
Yeah, sure.
I think if you went heavy, being like I sprint for miles is like,
Sure,
it's
yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll go normal. Is there a way that we can anchor this ship against the against the hull.
Yeah, you can. I think it's safe to say there's enough odd protuberances and bits that it could be kind of like chained up against the hull, lashed against the hull. And Odgar and Nicholas are here, and they're reliable, right? They're definitely reliable. They're not.
Unreliable.
Was it unreliable that they are? Look, there's no one down here for Nicholas to stab. So,
except for Odgar.
Except for his father.
Oh God!
So, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh dear. Well, Three Sheets is already, hauling himself up this ladder.
Sure. If only it were a ladder. It is a mere rope. But how? You know what? I'm going to ask for a group action here. Rather than ask everyone to roll. I think that's sensible. Who is going to lead this, and what action roll is it going to be?
Three Sheets is leading it with a prowl roll.
Makes perfect sense. So why do we have everyone else's rolls there?
Would finesse be better if we're saying, like, do we think broadly across the group?
That's a good point. Yeah, I think prowl is a more appropriate one and would have a higher effect. But absolutely, you're right. If there's
Silver,
nice.
Finesse is definitely better for me, but I think more people have prowl. I'm not sure.
Bricks definitely doesn't have any prowl.
I think the group has a decent prowl overall.
No, it's just me and Echo.
And
Bricks, do you have finesse?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the finesse roll. We're going to use our seamanship experience of climbing the rigging.
Of clambering and climbing the rigging. Yeah, no, I think
pull ourselves up. Basically, we're trying to rope the long way. Rather than using our legs to push ourselves up, we're actually just pulling ourselves up.
Yeah, you're finding the actual next kind of like bits and pieces and sort of, sure.
And more using the rope as a knot,
as a tool
falling into the ocean thing.
Sure.
Harness, yeah.
And any climbing gear you might have.
The roll there.
Yeah.
Finesse rolls for me, please.
4 or 5.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Cool. I rolled a 5, so 5's our best one.
All right, and you just take 1 stress from
That's reasonable.
Not bad at all. So this is still we're still in risky territory, by the way. A complication occurs from this. You know what? I'm actually going to say, because I do have that tendency to just keep ticking clocks, don't I? But you know what? For this, I think there are enough sharp protuberances and horrible little pits and scarring on this hull that, Justin, unless you want to resist it, you're going to take some harm. Go ahead and resist.
Although I should just take the harm, but I'm going to resist because I don't like harm. Harm is faff.
That's fair.
Oh, okay. Got a 5, so 1 more stress. That stress is really ticking up.
Yeah, you notice a kind of jagged piece of rusty iron jutting out from the hull of the ship. You manage to avoid it, although as you do so, you hear kind of a cry from Silver as she also almost kind of jabs her hand, and you kind of whip round. Go, oh, she's still on the rope. And you calm your heart and make your way further up towards the deck, because there is no way into any other area of the ship up here. There's no portholes. There's no way in other than straight up onto that deck. And that is where the keepers find themselves, on the vast expanse of the deck of the Vengeful Hydra. It's patches of darkened wood and metal stretching out as far as essentially as far as the eye can see. Huge contraptions rigged up to the sides of the ship. Their use and meaning slightly obscure, even for those of you who have worked on a Leviathan Hunter before. Each ship is different. Each ship's method of dragging those huge abyssal creatures out from the depths, hauling them onto the deck and butchering them, is different. This looks like maybe it has some kind of giant barrage racks of harpoons and hooks and various things that are up on almost kind of like artillery positions mounted all the way along. There's a couple of huge central, I don't know what you call them on ship, not chimneys, but stacks, smokestacks, right? That are billowing out dark clouds into an already pitch black sky, and you know that the overriding feeling you get is one of eerie emptiness. You can see in the near distance a couple of individuals maybe moving around on the deck in the vaguely flashing thunder and lightning, but no one really near you. And it's especially for those of you who have been aboard a Leviathan Hunter, there are far fewer people here than there should be. It is odd, you know, like being there's a Twitter account called Liminal Spaces, and it publishes a lot of photos of, like, you know, empty shopping malls late at night, or like offices, and it's got that kind of sensation of things are a bit off because this is a place that should be crowded with hundreds of people. You know what? Our stream manager Steve has suggested a very good thing. Shall we have a quick stress check-in? Just see how stressed people are. And remember, folks, that their stress trackers go to 10 because of an upgrade they've selected for the keepers as a whole.
I'm on 3.
Also on 3.
I'm on 1.
I'm 5 of 12, I think.
12?
I've got an extra box as well.
Oh, an extra box.
Extra.
That'll be 11 then, I think.
11, sorry, then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How are we going to go about this? You can see around you. You know what? I'm going to roll a fortune roll for you guys. For like whereabouts you are and what kind of things you might have near you. Hey, that's pretty good. So you can see quite close to you there are a number of different hatches and stairs leading downwards, if that's where you want to go. You know, there's sort of some, it's not a sail ship, but there's still some rigging generally around you that maybe things are stored in, and maybe you could creep along the side of the hull using that. But, you know, this, how on earth are you going to try and find the captain in all this?
So I don't know, like, my gut was that there might, to look for, like, above deck initially to see if there's anything that looks like a really nice place for somebody to be, like a really nice cabin or something like that. Because I get the impression that, like, deep below deck is probably, like, or maybe it's more stable, I don't know. But let's see initially if there's anything above deck that looks like it could be captain's quarters, was my thought. But sure. I will sort of whisper to kind of 3 sheets and bricks and be like, so do you know anything about where a captain might be? You know,
do we know anything about where a captain might be?
Like I say, like, you might know roughly. I mean, a captain's cabin is usually below decks and usually near the rear of the vessel. But like I say, every Leviathan hunting ship is you know, unique, almost idiosyncratic. So you can have a best guess, but whether that's accurate is another matter.
Also, I assume we can't see our friend anywhere on aboard.
No sign of it.
He disappeared.
He has done his job and scarpered.
Fair.
Yeah. Well, if we're really struggling, I guess finding somebody and asking them.
Yeah, that is an option.
Very politely.
We'll get turned around.
Any other ideas? You think you can make your way around this deck a fair bit without drawing too much attention to yourselves. Like I say, it's very sparsely crewed.
Yep. My intention would be to prowl off and see if I can see anything above deck initially.
Okay.
That looks like a promising place.
Well, I'm fine for Echo to just vanish between one lightning flash and the next as she goes out there. Why don't you give me your action roll? I'm so used in other systems to saying, you know, roll.
I'm gonna
dexterity and stealth or whatever. But
I'm trying to be sneaky, so I'm going for prowl.
Going for prowl. Do you want a devil's bargain for a tick of a clock?
Yeah.
I love the different philosophies on devil's bargains and clocks in this group. Look. Never versus always.
It's just because it's got the word devil in it.
Look, yeah. I've taken every devil-based skill I could. You can't expect me not to take the devil's bargain.
Sure. Sure.
I got a 6.
Wonderful.
Nice.
So as you start scouting out this deck, you kind of go creeping around. You make your way some distance from the keepers. This, I mean, you is it fair to say? Do you think Echo would never have been on a Leviathan hunter before?
Absolutely.
And
have
the
fear of
closest
water.
thing. Yeah, absolutely. The closest thing you'll have been on is that battleship that you exercised a couple of weeks ago. But this is something else entirely. You thought that was a huge craft. It has absolutely nothing on this. As I say, the size of a small town or a large village. And as you creep across the decks, there are so many different places, so many nooks and crannies that you can delve in, like lines overhead strung between the smokestacks that you can creep along, and you find yourself an embarrassment of riches as far as your creepy, stealthy proclivities go. You find yourself curiously looking around, getting the kind of lay of the land of the deck, and seeing what people are doing. You pass several other sailors, each one of them kind of busying themselves at some activity that seems arcane and unknowable to you. And as you do so, you're keeping a lookout for if there's anything, as you say, like a cabin on the, some kind of fancy small building or room on the surface. You don't find that, but you know what you do find? You see, walking the deck, occasionally holding his hand up against the sheeting rain, you see an individual in very fancy garments. Notably, they're still functional, but they're a much more expensive cut and design than any of the other sailors in any way. They look comfortable for a start. It seems like something that Silver might spend her time lusting after in Dundridge and Sons. And you are almost certain that if it's not the captain, it must at least be a high-ranking officer. He is a stout man, also wearing a kind of half face mask that seems to be made of maybe some kind of clay or porcelain over half of his face, a tricorn hat, and accompanied by an elegant, long-haired woman with her hair kind of in a very long plait on her back, dressed in a suit and vest, who walks with the confidence of someone with not inconsiderable martial skills. They walk the deck for a while. It seems to be like the man in the fineries seems to be inspecting or looking about to make sure everything is as it should be, but quite quickly gives up in the driving rain and thunder and lightning, and they turn around and proceed down a set of stairs.
Well, that looks like our man and his bodyguard. I think I will go back to the group and report on. I think I found him, and I think I know roughly the area of the ship that at least he's currently in. It seems a reasonable guess to think that he'll be going back to his quarters. Shall we try and tail him and see if we can, and I'll give a brief description of him to 3 sheets, who I know just is like the one who
is happy to kill people. We're sorry.
Well, yeah, but also the one who finds people and then does unpleasant things to people.
Sure. I've got. I could do a hunt roll to kind of then like do more looking around in that specific area for our target.
Yeah, that seems absolutely fine. But you know what I think? I think to get the group there, we're going to need another roll. Because Echo is moving around the ship fairly easily now. But I think for all of you to find your way there is
more tricky.
Can I have a flashback to just to getting us Leviathan Hunter clothes? I don't know what normal Leviathan Hunter crews wear.
Sure.
But whatever that is,
Yeah, they have each crew will have like a specific uniform, but it's a kind of a slapdash one, like they'll have colors they prefer people to wear or what have you, rather than any specific uniform. But you can definitely kind of have a flashback to kind of research that and make sure you're wearing uniforms that or clothes that kind of agree with that. And you know what? I think there's two things you could do for this. I think you could roll for it, or you could just spend a stress, and I'll let you just, find it and take it.
I'll spend one stress. Seems slightly safer.
Sure.
Show up in the wrong uniforms. But,
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you find out that the vengeful Hydra tends to favor people wearing green in an odd coincidence to that color choice of Ulf Ironborn and his Ironborn crews. So you have all turned up in your rough approximation of green clothing. It's probably not going to pass close inspection, but
I think in general, I'm going to more be relying on my ability to stay in the shadows.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Yeah, obviously, if I get caught, it's very convenient.
Yeah,
to be like, I was skulking off work.
Absolutely. So, what are we doing? What group action are we taking, and who's leading it to get the keepers more over towards the direction that this fine gentleman was seeing it?
I think if it's it seems like if we're trying to pass our group off as a bunch of sailors, that seems like more of a sort of persuadey kind of role.
Yeah, you can go with that route, absolutely. Sway seems the obvious option, but
I mean, yeah.
I'm happy to lead that if that's the way we want to go rather than stealth. It seems very reasonable to me.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I have no points in either Prowl or Sway, so Brooks will be following the group.
Sure. Well, why don't we make that group action there then? And you know what? Silver, I'm going to offer you a devil's bargain for the tick of a clock.
I don't think so. I don't think we need it with a whole group action.
That's fine.
5.
3.
2.
Also 5.
Okay, so that's 2 stress for Silver, and we have a success with a complication. This is still risky, by the way, folks. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. So you make your way forwards along the deck, kind of shifting your your body language to be less creepy and more I definitely belong here. And just proceed as a kind of loose group down in that direction. It is towards the rear of the vessel. And as you stride along, there are people in the near distance walking the other way. A couple of them even kind of raise a hand to you. You can't recognize people in this dark until you're real up close to them. So they just presume you're other members of the crew. And the occasional lightning flash shows roughly green clothing. That seems to work. And the group of you find yourself proceeding towards, and this takes a good, 5 minutes or so to walk a great deal of the length of this Leviathan Hunter until you reach near the stairs leading down below decks that Echo you saw the 2 individuals walking down. And as you do so, you're walking up to them loosely as a group. Silver, you hear the clomping of someone coming up those stairs directly in front of the group of you as you're kind of moving towards, and they would be close to you. If they emerge from that stairwell, they'll be within 10 feet or so of you. Maybe your deception works, or maybe that person knows what the other people on the crew look like. So what I'm saying is you're in a desperate position. And any one of the 4 of you can deal with this because you're all arriving at roughly the same time. So it's up to you what we want to do.
Is there anyone particularly nearby other than this person we hear coming up the stairs?
Let me do a fortune roll. There is you don't think so.
Okay.
So,
Oh dear.
Can we, like, the distance is, we could run it, right? I reckon I could close the gap in the amount of time it would take this person to hit the.
Oh yeah, probably
get to
yeah.
the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And oh god, yeah. I feel like I just want to sort of run up to them and smother their mouth and see if I can. Although, yeah, maybe we can still achieve stealth. Is there any cover around?
Sure, if people want to just kind of duck into cover, I think that's fine. There's lots of, this deck isn't a big open area. I mean, it has big open areas, but right around here, there's, various barrels lashed to rails and like little stacks of various supplies on the, people could leap into cover if they so wished.
I
think that'd be a group action rather than.
Yeah. I think cover's the best option.
What about you, Bricks?
Bricks seem to be coming up with a very Bricks solution to this.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, you know what? Let's kill them.
I think Bricks wasn't going to kill them. I think at the point that people are like, oh god, what do we do? And there isn't an immediate plan. Bricks is going to move forward, and Bricks is going to prepare to get the person in like a choke lock so they can't shout out.
Now, it seems to me that if Bricks isn't going to run for cover, then the group action of running for cover is not a thing that is going to happen.
Sure.
So Bricks, I smell a skirmish roll coming over the horizon.
That would be right. And I'm also going to push myself.
Oh, well, unless you want me to offer you a devil's bargain, which I'd have
No,
to
I
do.
want to push myself, thank you. That's very kind of you. So I'm going to roll 4 dice, assuming no one is helping me, because it sounded like you're not.
Is it 1 stress to assist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. This is the kind of thing I'd do. And it's solving a problem with violence, which is important to my character.
My highest is a 5.
Okay.
2 3s, 2 4s, and a 5.
Okay, well, this was a desperate situation, so you also get a bit of XP there. I am going to say... I'm going to deliver harm unto you unless you resist it.
Resist.
I'm going to resist it.
Okay, that's going to be prowess.
Okay, that's 3.
You got this, Bricks.
My highest is a 4, so it's 2 stress.
2 stress.
Yours.
Trust me, it was worth it. Because harm from a desperate roll is severe harm. So, as you charge forwards with 3 sheets, kind of just a pace behind you, and you see kind of a large man in kind of the Leviathan hunting gear reaching the top of the stairs, and as he sees you move towards him, he kind of blinks to kind of get the raindrops out of his eyes, and then sort of clearly sees that you're coming at him with ill intent and that he doesn't recognize you, and kind of his eyes widen. He quick as a whip, like drags a knife from his belt, but you slap it out of his hand and it goes skittering over the deck and it's lost in the wash of rain and darkness, and you manage to just grab him, wrap your huge arm around his throat and neck, while 3 sheets sort of like drags his arms to his side and pinions him. You have him successfully held between you, held and silenced. He's like...
I mean, 3 sheets has definitely got a knife to him. You know, 3 sheets is ready to kill this man.
Okay. I'll sort of like try and run slightly, try and get past them and see if there's anyone else coming.
Yeah, you cannot see anyone else coming up the stairs. You can
How
see the
close are we?
stairs have like. Sorry, I just want to describe.
Yeah.
They go down. It looks like they go down maybe actually a deck or two. Oddly, like not to the next layer down, but further down, and you can see a lot of kind of Leviathan oil lanterns like hanging and kind of banging with the sway of the ship against the kind of iron railings and iron stairs leading down into the, oddly lit. Like corridors and deck down there. There's a kind of faint yellowish, greenish tinge to it all.
Okay, I'll sort of whisper up, coast is clear.
How far are we from the rails of the deck?
Not far at all.
Okay.
I'm going to say it loud enough to be heard by this man. If you let me knife him, we could dub him off the side of the deck. No one will be any the wiser.
Why'd you have to knife him?
Well, he has seen us.
Why would you shoot a man before throwing him off a Leviathan hunter?
Well, I'm just saying it's easier to move a dead man than a living one.
I'd say better safe than sorry. May as well make doubly sure.
What are you guys doing? Just tie him up and come down here.
Shut up, Echo.
It doesn't
What are
sound
you
about
talking
right.
about?
If we tie him
Well,
up
now
somebody-
you've just said one of your names.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake.
Please stab this man.
Oh my god.
Leave a blood stain.
It's going to wash out. It's just driving rain like this. This man, I can't think of any reason we could want to keep him alive. I'm saying this.
We're
Hopefully,
having
the
a
man.
crisis of conscience here. Or
No.
something.
What I'm hoping for is well, we are. We probably are going to kill him, even if he does talk.
Yeah.
But he might proffer up some information if he thinks that it would save his life. That's what I'm going for.
In general, try and make it not a hopeless situation before you threaten a man. We're going to kill you either way. Now just tell us.
I didn't say. I obviously didn't say that part out loud. I'm just. Everyone else had caught on.
All right. Well, what are we doing here? Are we killing this guy? Are we trying to briefly interrogate him? What are we doing?
I don't know. Is Echo smart enough to realise that he cannot say, "Look, man, is there anything you can say that would convince this crazy person not to kill you?"
Why does it have to be Echo? Like,
I don't know, because he's the only one who's not
Echo's
wanting to kill
partly
this
gone
man.
down the stairs and is calling up at
That's
you
true.
like come to
Yeah.
stop messing
Deal with
around and come down the stairs.
Silver, do you want to play good cop?
I think Silver just thinks we know where these people have gone. We just
I think
need
Silver
to
has
move on.
literally already said, "Just stab him
Yeah.
and get on
Yeah.
with it."
In which
Okay,
case,
let's go.
yeah, he's dead. We kill the guy. We dump him overboard.
Yep. Three
Right.
sheets. Knife
Good.
slides into his side. He gives a muffled grunt, and Brooks heaves him over the edge. You don't even hear the splash from this height.
Cool.
Have we
Good.
gotten a large amount of blood on ourselves from that?
It's raining.
Could be
That's why I
Leviathan
didn't want
blood.
to stab him.
A small amount of blood, but it quickly washes off in the rain.
Okay, that's
it's-
fine.
I suppose we're outside of Duskfall, so we don't hear any bells.
No, you are far outside the reach of the spirit wardens here.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't a good thing in and of itself.
Let's get below.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you come up, I'll be like, "So did you get where the captain's quarters are?"
No,
Right.
that was your job.
I thought it was my job with a hunt roll.
Let's go.
Okay. So you proceed downwards and find yourselves a couple of decks below the surface of the Leviathan Hunter. You are in a set of cramped, tight corridors that have the unpleasant feeling of being like tunnels. If Oriel was here, they would maybe remark how they oddly feel like the grotto underneath the docks where they go about their filthy occult business with the other Whispers. But as it is, all you're reminded of is the dark iron and like almost petrified wood around you. as I say, it reminds you uncomfortably of maybe being underground or in a cave network of some kind. The diffused yellowish green light around you only adding to the effect. It is also extremely noisy. You can hear mechanisms and as well as just the creak of the hull and the ship as a whole, like around you, and it's almost immediately drowns out the sound of the drumming rain on the deck above you. So I think we need a hunt roll.
Sure. Is it a risky situation? Desperate situation?
You're in risky situation now, and do you want? I mean, I will offer you a devil's bargain, but I don't know if you'll take it.
Is it a clock?
It is a clock, yeah.
No. I rolled a 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay then. So you make your way through these winding, odd tunnel-like corridors of the Leviathan Hunter. Kind of quickly kind of losing much of a sense of where you are, but you have a rough idea of what direction to go back in to get up those stairs. Every now and then each of you catches a whiff of odd fumes being released from some kind of valve or pipe on the side of the corridors you're in. But yes, Justin.
No, I'm just waiting for you to finish your description.
Oh, thank you. That was it.
Well, I'm wondering if my scout ability, where I have +1 effect when gathering information to locate a target, is this because I'm trying to locate a target? Is that what we're doing here? Is that what this role is?
I don't know. You tell me. You were trying to find the captain's thing, right?
It's always a bit of contention because it's to gather information to locate a target, and whether gather information is something that is explicitly done before a session, or can gather information be roles that are made during the session. I
don't think it's whether it's before or during a session. Okay. I think it's whether it's gathering information.
Sure.
Which I don't think this is. You're trying to find it, not gather information.
But
about where
it's explicitly. This is why it never seems to be applicable, because it explicitly says in order to find something. So it's like. And it's about the scouting ability to use basically. I don't really know. That's why the wording on this one is always kind of.
It will make a difference. You've just rolled a 6 on the most appropriate effect thing there is. So I don't think it particularly will make a difference in this case because you just succeeded, unless you want to succeed twice, which you find both cabins from both captains.
Nice.
That's the twist. So yeah. You find your way around a number of corridors, and the thing that actually leaps out to you and which leads you in what seems to be the right direction is not any kind of, you don't see a sign with captain's quarters or anything like that. But what it is that you find an area where the fumes don't seem quite so horrible, and where the walls seem to be in a greater sense of repair and arrangement. And as you make your way through these, you see ahead of you one long corridor that seems to be mostly well crafted, and at the head of it is a very nice set of carved wooden doors that seem entirely at odds with the environment around them. Very occasionally you've heard like some distant footsteps of the kind, but as far as you can tell, you are in fairly close proximity to what may well be the captain's quarters, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else around apart from a cat.
It's always good to have a ship's cat.
Ship's cat's very dangerous thing.
What?
So okay, so there's this door, and there doesn't seem to doesn't seem to be anyone guarding it or immediately outside.
Nope.
I would like to put my ear to it, see if I can hear anything coming from inside.
Well, to get up that close, I think we're going to need a roll of some kind. I suspect I know what it's going to be.
I'm going to be prowling. Is this a risky or?
Yeah, I'd say it's risky.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll just roll standardly. I rolled a 6.
Okay. You creep your way up to the cabin. and put your ear to it and listen out. Inside, you hear just the general creaks of the ship. You hear the sounds of someone kind of working on something, I guess, something kind of desk noises, like things being picked up and maybe used. You hear the metallic scrape of something against wood. And you also hear an occasional, every 30 seconds or so, kind of a noise which I can only describe as...
Well...
Could be anything. Three Sheet says knowingly.
Okay. But there's still that bodyguard that we don't really know very much about. And I'm the only one next to this door at the moment.
Correct.
I think I'll stay here, and hopefully if somebody immediately emerges from this door, I want to be ready to ambush them in some way.
Sure.
And then I'll sort of wait to see whether the other guys approach.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that seems fair. And you know what? I am going to periodically roll fortune dice to see if those doors open and someone walks out. So we'll start with this many. The amount I have now that I'm not telling you.
Will that be good or bad?
Well, the number of dice is going to diminish. So, the longer passes, the more likely someone will leave a room, right?
Yeah.
So, I need roads.
That door is staying closed for now.
I mean, we could go in and kill them. We know at least the papers are in there. Could set a small fire, start burning things.
I think I'll
not kill the bodyguard.
I think I'll indicate that there's two of them to the other people, probably.
You absolutely do not know how many people are in that room.
So I heard one person, and I'm going to guess.
You heard people.
Okay.
You heard human activity.
Okay, but I couldn't identify how many. Okay.
No, I think that would be super.
In that case, I'll just be in there.
Well, we've come here to kill them, haven't we? Seems we found them. We should go in and kill them.
We might do with somebody staying behind and making sure we're not disturbed. Either by encouraging other people to say that the captain is busy, or by physically stopping them from entering if needs be.
Well, the bodyguard may cause some trouble, so perhaps I should stay back and you two can go in.
Password is knife work. Is that what I say to Briggs?
All right, planning on doing this a bit quieter.
Well, knives are quiet. I
mean,
all right.
I'm just At this point, I'm should I just put demolition tools on my loot and just put it on the outside of this door?
No, I mean, we're not 100% sure the door is not just open.
Sure.
So,
I think Pierre was more saying just to blow the whole room up.
Yeah, but anyway,
I'm not sure with the demolition tools as explosives. I think I guess it could be explosives, but
sure.
So
crowbar.
Can I roll a finesse roll to very quietly try and open the door?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, then that is what I'm going to do.
I will offer you a devil's bargain for the tick of a clock.
I've already rolled it, but I rolled a 5 and a 6.
Okay. You quite quietly open the door. I don't think you can just open the door entirely and remain. That would seem impossible.
No.
But I think you can, at the very least, kind of crack it open and take a look inside.
Yeah.
Inside is a large room that is undoubtedly the captain's cabin. It is very well laid out with fancy wooden furniture, the centerpiece of which is a very large desk, far too large for just one person to sit behind which the man is sat in his finery. His tricorn is taken off, but he's still wearing that sort of clay or porcelain half mask over one half of his face. He is working on something on the table surface that seems to be, he's periodically kind of dipping and writing in a very old-fashioned manner with a quill, what seems to be a letter or a missive. Nearby with her boots up on the table is presumably the bodyguard, the woman with a long tied back plait, a suit and vest, who is looking quite bored and kind of tilting back on a chair and periodically opening up a silver snuff box of some kind and taking a snout of some form of drugs.
Okay.
I'm actually making 2 fortune rolls here.
Ooh, nice.
Because someone mentioned something else.
Yep, I did.
So, they are working as they are, and there's no sign, Silver, of anyone approaching the tunnel-like corridor where you are.
And they don't appear to have noticed me. Well, I think I would like to. Is the room? You said the room's really large.
Mm-hmm.
Is it well lit?
I mean, by our world standards, no. By the standards of this Leviathan hunter, yes.
Yeah, it's not like Dishonored Dark where you can.
No, I'd say it's dim,
okay, it's
dim light. Yeah.
Okay. Like Brick's just gonna quickly say that. Three she's gonna say, I think I could shoot it from here. I think I can get it from here. I think I can clip it. Do you want to just go in and... There's 2 of them.
Bet you a coin you can't.
Oh.
I would actually venture to say these people are about, 15 to 20 feet away from you. I don't think you can communicate with this level of clarity without alerting them significantly.
That's fair enough. I don't. Yeah. Well, then in that case, I kind of merely would put my hand on my sword and kind of indicate that we should head in, waiting for Bricks a nod of assent.
Bricks will nod, but he'll also.
No, let's just go and do it. Let's do the thing.
All
okay.
Right.
I with that, we're gonna go in hard, and I think actually no. If we can get in, what I'm trying to do is Bricks is gonna pull us both in, lock and see if there's a key in the door to lock behind us, and pocket. That's what I'd like to do, and if I can complete all of that without being seen. Or
you absolutely cannot do that without being. You're walking into the room
if I can complete all of that quickly, that's what I would like to do, and I'm happy to roll a finesse roll to try and achieve all of that quickly.
To do that rather than making the attack roll, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's make that roll first.
Or maybe I was just going to say maybe I can be the person who tries to lock it after us. And
are you coming in too?
Yeah.
Well, then that's fine. Then you can make the finesse roll.
Okay. Well, you know what? It seems to me like the skirmish roll should actually be made first.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, is this a group action between 3 sheets and Bricks, or are you doing separate ones? Or I think we did determine that there's a slight statistical advantage to doing a group action if you're doing something together.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to lead it? I've led quite a few actions.
Yeah, and I'll.
Sure. And I will offer you a devil's bargain.
Am I part of this skirmish roll?
I don't know. Are you?
This group skirmish action.
Are you attacking them?
I wasn't planning to. No.
Then no.
Okay.
I think it actually feels appropriate to take the devil's bargain because what we're doing is probably going to be quite clock ticky anyway.
And it's going to get us damned to hell.
Did I say it was the tick of a clock?
Oh, go on. What is your devil's bargain?
My devil's bargain will be for some harm.
You can resist harm.
I don't have an awful lot.
I don't think you can resist a devil's bargain. Can you?
I don't think so.
I think you resist consequences, right?
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I think there's ways of reading it that are weird because you can be like, well, the devil's bargain is the consequence of harm, but anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm fine with whatever. Yeah.
I think Bricks hasn't really gotten injured before, so I'm going to take the devil's bargain.
Okay.
Damn it.
Sounds good.
Oh.
Well, so how did we do?
Highest was a 4.
3 sheets?
2.
Well, that's a stress for Bricks, and the highest is 4. But that's still a success.
Yeah.
Can you what?
Well, I was going to throw something in, but I think with a 2, not very much use anyway.
But what were you going to say?
Well, the electroplasmic, whatever it's called, ammunition, when used on people, is stunning. And so one of the reasons I didn't want to shoot was because I could have instead loaded up my pistols with something that would stun the bodyguard rather than killing them.
Okay.
So I don't know if that would be something like we didn't get a very high success roll, but if that could be factored in, then we could have a success that maybe involves something like that. I don't really know. So my method of attacking would be.
It just seems odd when you literally just said you weren't shooting.
Well, I said I wasn't going to shoot them from the door, but because I was wanted to hold that in my back pocket. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. So yeah, you pilot. Sorry, I've lost where we were now. So were you on a 4?
4, and I am taking my sledgehammer in with me.
Your sledgehammer.
This is your preferred method of attack, I guess.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Sure. So let me think about this a second. So for the first thing I'm going to do is roll for, I'm going to just roll a fortune roll to see how bad the harm that is delivered to you is.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to, but you did get a success, didn't you? So I've got to think about the consequences of that success. And I'm going to say it's that. So, okay, I think we're ready to describe what happens. So, the two of you barrel in to the room. I think 3 sheets, you said you had your sword out?
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
And Bricks, you have your sledgehammer. You barrel into the room and sort of quite... I think you're just giving them the bum's rush, right? You're not. There's no fancy attack or anything you're kind of doing. Yeah. Bricks, with a kind of grunt, you dash across the room and sort of thrust your sledgehammer out directly into the chest of the captain, who kind of topples over backwards on the ground with a great kind of cry of pain as you feel ribs and sternum crack open under your blow. With the shock of the impact, his mask kind of skitters off and flies off into the darkness, and you register with puzzlement at perfectly untouched face under that. You would have assumed he was perhaps disfigured or maimed or scarred in some way, but no, nothing. And he crashes to the ground, sort of probably breathing his last, in all honesty, although maybe you want to make sure of that. In all the calamity, you barely registered the sound of a musket being fired. And now you find yourself kind of towering over the captain and kind of wrenching your sledgehammer back, and then just looking down at the odd spread of dark fluid appearing on your side over the green fabric you're wearing. Can you note down severe harm of gut shot?
Oh, that's a level 3, right?
That is indeed a level 3.
Is that a consequence that can be resisted?
No, that's the devil's bargain.
Right.
The consequence that can be resisted is ticks on a clock, if anyone wants to do that. I'm happy with either of you doing that.
And what resistance roll would it be?
It would be... I think... Insight? Insight.
Unless Echo wants to. No, it is fine. No, let's go. Let's move on.
Okay. So, I believe we also had a roll from Echo on kind of finessing that door shut to try and.
Yeah, trying to. Well, basically, I'm assuming from the inside, like I'm also entering this room and then trying to close it and lock it.
You're doing whatever you want to do.
So that is what I. So I guess I'm trying to close it. Is there a key in the door?
Yes.
Okay, I will lock it, and then I will hear a gunshot, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, I think that, like, the main thing I will do is sort of turn to the source of the noise and see Bricks having just been shot by this person, and I will want to try and tackle them to the ground.
Sure. The scene that you can see is kind of Bricks is stood there, kind of like almost kind of, not that Bricks is dumb, but kind of like dumbly kind of looking down at this spreading stain on his outfit. Three Sheets is kind of like spinning round to face the bodyguard who stood there almost in a dueling posture with her like stood already, one hand behind her back and the musket thrust out. What role are you going to make to try and tackle her down?
So, I think I'm going to...
This is a desperate situation, by the way.
Okay, I think I'm going to try for skirmish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use...
Most appropriate.
I'm going to use I'm going to push myself, which takes 2 stress, which means I use the Devil's Footsteps, which is I can choose when I push myself, I can choose one of the following additional benefits: perform a feat of athletics that verges on the superhuman, or maneuver to confuse your enemies so they mistakenly attack each other. And I was wondering if a thing I could do is try to get this person to take another shot and hit the man on the ground. Or if that's not possible, I'll go for the other one, which is just...
I think it's possible, but it's okay. I think it's starting to bend believability. But if he's like over there on the ground, sort of thing. But
okay, well then the feat of athletics is going to be to like run up, try and use the furniture to like cover the distance incredibly quickly and try and disarm this person. And because it's a desperate action, I'm going to do the thing that I can do, which is get an extra dice in exchange for less ability to resist, like one minus dice for resistance.
Sure. Yeah. So what's your skirmish normally?
So it's normally 1. So I'm pushing myself, so I get 2, and then I'm doing Daredevil, so 3.
Nice. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
I rolled a 6.
And that's a desperate XP as well, don't forget.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. You dive forwards, like 3 Sheets and the bodyguard are kind of literally like mirrors of each other, like wheeling round. And just before they can kind of take perhaps either shot at each other or 3 Sheets with your sword, like slash out at her, you dive forwards, you sort of parkour yourself off the walls of the cabin with one foot, off the table with another, and then you just kind of flying through the air, just let out a kick, and the bodyguard's kind of arm spins back. The next round lodges in the ceiling as the deafening crack echoes out. And you know what? I think that's impressive enough and impactful enough. 3 Sheets. What do you want to do at this point? Unless it's something particularly complex, I'm not sure you need to make a roll for it.
So the bodyguard is more or less disarmed.
Yeah. In fact, you said disarmed, didn't you? So let's say, like, after the round went off, the musket has gone flying through, and she's kind of like desperately trying to, like, catch it in the air as it's flying through the air of the cabin.
If she is still moving like a threat, then I think I would like to try and attack her Probably with a sword, but in a non-lethal. I like
Yeah. Like
attack.
Knock her out, or like just stick her in a place.
Yeah,
that, like...
I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna stab her, but not.
Okay.
I might try and break bones, but not bone. Like I'm not being nice, but I've seen many people survive duels before, having been stabbed or shot.
Try and wound her in a place that she'll survive.
Yeah, but I'm not like pulling my punches.
I think that like the fact that she drew down so fast, she has a lot of skill. I'm going to say this is a desperate roll as well, and it's definitely. I mean, I'm assuming you're going with skirmish.
I mean, I would go with wreck if I had any points.
Sure. I am going to offer you a devil's bargain here. Now, hear me out here, because it is a tick of a clock. It's a different clock, so it's a clock that hasn't ticked yet.
I'm liking this clock. That's the clock we're going to go. But I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that clock is bricks bleeding out. So I'm just
no, it's not. It's not. I'll tell you that. It's a clock I had marked down from the beginning.
Then I will take said clock, and I will take. But I can't push or anything else like that, can
I? Not if you're taking the devil's bargain, though.
Oh. Do you think I would have greater effect using wreck than skirmish?
No, I think you'd have the best effect using skirmish.
Okay, roll a 6 and a 5.
Okay. She's still scrambling for the gun, and you lunge forward, and in your constant half stupor, you still know exactly where to slide your blade, and that is, in the torso, below the lungs, above the liver or kidneys, and
sure.
Hopefully avoiding any major organs of any kind.
It's odd to be avoiding these organs.
Yeah, exactly. And you normally when you miss these organs, you let out a curse. But this time, it's a cause for celebration. Your blade slides into her side. She gives a cry out and kind of topples over to one side, clutching at a heavily bleeding wound that you're fairly sure she will survive.
Yeah, I might. In my family, is it enough time to kind of say to her, if you push yourself now, you'll bleed out. Time to give up.
Sure, yeah, you can absolutely say that. She kind of looks up at you with a venomous stare, and then glances over at Lord Lomond on the floor, who, as she does so, lets out a... And she looks back up at you and just, still glaring daggers at you, just kind of like tightens her hand to her side and kind of pushes herself up against the wall and just sits there. Bricks. You fall over.
God damn it, Bricks.
My head
Bricks just kind of crumples to the ground next to the desk with an odd sighing noise.
Bricks. I'm going to rush over to Bricks. I thought that this knife work might be risky, so I brought some form of medical, like either a emergency sort of bandage or something to staunch wounds.
Sure. Yeah.
How much load? Do you reckon that's 1 or 2?
I think that's 1 load. I think it's probably 1 load. What roll are you going to make with this?
I'm going. Okay, I guess. So it's not really hunt. It's not. Could be study. Could be survey. Could be tinker.
I think the natural one is actually probably tinker, but
or attune.
But if you haven't got any points in that, then it's definitely like attune would be terrible.
Okay.
We have like very low.
What are you gonna do? Offer thoughts and prayers? Like,
yeah.
Is finesse maybe an option?
I think finesse and tinker and maybe study are like the highest effect ones that I reckon.
I think the most likely is that I can do some finesse. So I'll just try and stop the bleeding.
I think that's just standard effect. So go for it.
Okay. Is this a desperate roll or not?
Yeah, it's a desperate roll.
Okay. Because I could say when I roll a desperate action, I get 1 extra dice if I also take -1 dice to any resistance rolls to the harm caused by this. But at the same time, this is Brix's life.
Do just to be absolutely clear with this, like if you fail this, Brix isn't going to die. Like, Brix has taken severe harm.
Yeah.
That means that Brix can't kind of cope by himself. But what I'm doing, I'm basically flying by the seat of my pants, and I'm going to introduce a mechanic based on how you do here.
Okay, well, I think I'll just do the standard roll. I'm just going to do 3 dice finesse roll. And I got a 6. Holy shit.
There we go. So what I'm going to do for this, okay, I'm going to roll a fortune roll anytime, and because you got 6 there, it's going to be 2 dice. And anytime you need Brix to do something, or Brix has to do something, like walk, I'm going to roll this fortune die to see how Brix does, or if Brix needs like help doing that. Not like further medical attention. I mean, whether you need to carry Brix.
Yeah.
Which
is an unenviable task.
It is not.
No.
It is not. So here you go. Lord Lomond has breathed his last. His chest caved in by Brix's hammer on the floor of the cabin. The bodyguard is just glaring daggers at you, but seems to be agreeing with you that, her meal ticket is dead. Like, what's the point in fighting? Fortune roll. There is a fireplace, which is, it seems to be burning, directly burning Leviathan oil, which gives it, you know what? That gives it that odd yellowish greenish cast, because for whatever reason, the Leviathan oil supplies on this ship have this odd coloured cast to them.
Are you okay, Brix?
How with it am I?
I'd say you are with it. You haven't passed out. You probably even maybe the pain hasn't particularly hit you yet. The reason you fell over is probably shock.
Okay. Fuck. I'm fine.
It's going to be okay, Brix. We just
I've had worse.
Why don't you and the Silver get out of here, and me and Echo can start burning everything?
Yeah, I'll look after her.
Yeah. And that I would like to do a hunt roll to find any documents that could look even slightly interesting.
That sounds like a spectacularly good roll. And you know what? I think maybe it should be a group action between you and Echo. What do you think?
I'm happy to lead said group action, although I have very little stress left.
Okay.
I have no points in hunt, but I can.
Then you can.
I think rolling 2 dice and taking the lower is still better than not having any extra dice. But it's up to you. It is up to you entirely.
Maybe it seems very likely to generate stress.
Maybe Echo can keep a lookout instead.
Yeah.
Speaking of which. Okay.
So I'll try and help Brix up and go with him over to the door, unlocking the door, having a quick look outside, seeing if I can see Silver from where we are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Silver, you're kind of down at the end of the corridor, right? Keeping a lookout.
Yeah. I think seeing someone open the door, I would at least say down the passageway, is everyone okay? I heard a shot.
We're fine.
We're not fine.
Just from the pedant side of me, you heard 2 shots.
Okay.
Silver, you heard 2 shots.
Right.
You're losing your edge.
You're losing your mind.
I was just so worried from the first shot. I didn't even register
the second one. They were in very close proximity, to be fair.
Brix needs help. And I sort of moved out with Brix.
Brix, you can heave yourself to your feet and you think you can make it over to where Silver is.
All right, let's go. You and me, back to the ship.
All right.
And you're kind of like
Echo.
staggering and weaving and like holding yourself against the tunnel-like side of the corridors, but you make it over to the end of that tunnel to where Silver is.
Echo. I lost my hammer in case you need it. Don't forget it.
Okay.
I
take an enormous hammer.
Okay.
Sure. What's the load of that hammer, John?
1.
I've got it as a fine heavy weapon, so it's 2.
All right. Take 2 load, Pierre.
Actually, yeah. Fine heavy weapon.
You can handle that 2 load, right?
I can. Maybe actually. Oh, God.
I can carry it if you want.
No, actually, I think you can use it as a crutch.
No.
Okay,
Maybe.
fine. I'll take the large weapon.
Look, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I rolled a 5 and a 4.
You rolled a 5 and a 4. Okay. What consequence are we having there? I'm going to say this is still desperate, by the way, because I think everything is basically going to be desperate from here on in. I think it's that kind of situation. So take the XP for that. It was a hunt roll, right?
Yep.
Okay. What consequence are we going to have here? I'm going to say that the consequence is going to be ticks on a clock. Do you want to resist?
Will it be an insight resist?
Yes, it will be whatever matches your hunt roll.
Oh, I've got 5 stress boxes left. Yeah, go on.
It's pretty solid.
I'll resist.
Loads.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a miser. Oh, and I rolled a 6, so no stress.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
These dice have been very good tonight.
You kind of rampage your way around the cabin. They have been good dice. You rampage your way around the cabin, grabbing great sweeping armfuls of documentation, kicking open the doors of cupboards, wrenching stuff out of that, and just as fast as you can, like carrying stuff over and pitching it into that the large roaring fire at the side of the cabin, and everything just erupts quite quickly. The cabin starts filling up with unpleasant smelling, acrid smoke, and you are you, given that you're doing this so fast, I'm assuming you're not taking any time to kind of look at any of the documentation in particular? I mean a lot of it just looks like
I guess
navigational stuff.
I think Three Shooters has thought about this before the mission and gone, I can't, if I don't know anything, I'm more safe than if I know anything about what I'm doing.
Sure.
Whereas Echo is super interested in taking 1 or 2 samples of the
them.
Yeah, as in trying to smuggle them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, Echo, I need a roll for you on that. And also, I'm going to make a fortune roll for 3 sheets, and I'm going to invert it to what you'd normally expect. 3 sheets doesn't want to see anything, so I'm going to make a fortune roll to see if you do see anything. And if it fails, you see something. How about that? But Echo, while we do that, Echo, what roll are you going to make to?
I'm going to guess survey.
Sure, that seems perfectly reasonable. I'd say this is you know what, this isn't, because you're waiting on 3 sheets. This is just a risky roll, I'd say. Okay. So why don't you make that survey roll? I have no devil's bargain for you. 2.
I should have waited until, because I would have accepted any given devil's bargain, but I was too keen to roll, and I got a 2.
You got a 2.
Didn't find anything, I guess. Well, I pocketed something bad.
Got a paper cut.
No, you know what? Yeah. I think you just don't find you just don't find anything. Sure.
It's like Matt's like, you find the juiciest document you could ever possibly want.
And then 3 sheets throws it into the fire.
It's just the worst.
There's also a tick of a clock, but okay. You and also you don't find anything that looks like you're just looking for. It just looks like standard Leviathan Hunter operating administration to you.
Help throw it into the.
Sure. 3 sheets though. That fortune roll, mate, got a 3. So you're going to learn something whether you like it or not.
Sure.
And you know what? It's when you remember the letter he was writing when you killed him.
Hey, Bricks killed him. I think we'll be very clear on that.
Seems to be a missive to the Lord Governor of Doskvol, saying that the Leviathan hunting grounds of Doskvol have been empty for months. The city has been relying on what fuel it had already gathered alone, or rather the stocks that the Leviathan hunters had in store for a rainy day, essentially, and that there is a conspiracy among the highest levels of the Leviathan hunters led by Lord Strangford, to keep this quiet from the governors, the Ministry of Preservation, and the people of Doskvol, and that the only reason it hasn't come out sooner is because they've been exploiting Leviathan hunting territories used and sequestered by other cities and other nations in order to find new hunting grounds, which apparently they have now done.
Brilliant.
It's really uncertain how controversial this would be in Doskvol, a city that runs on corruption, greed, and deception. But for what it's worth, this is pretty incriminating stuff. I'm assuming you're throwing the letter in the fire?
It's the sound of opportunity, 3 sheets. It's all a bunch of navigational maps. I can't make heads or tails of this, and I sort of
Echo. I don't have time to look over all of these things. Would you throw this into the fire for me?
Absolutely. And I take it. I assume I just see the hand.
I am busying myself over here.
Okay, I pocket this.
Okay.
I have one more thing I'd like to do once I feel like I've done all the looting and burning.
Yeah.
Which is I want to go and make sure that the guy is dead with a few more extra stabs.
Yeah, and, sure. He is dead, but yeah.
I'd also like to take the mask because it's cool. And
yeah, sure.
I think that'd be a good thing to hand over to our employer.
Yeah, sure. So proof that he's dead, right? Yeah.
Yep, doing that. And then I'm gonna say we should get out of here.
Is the bodyguard still in here?
Yep, she's still there.
I hope she didn't see me.
Still staring at you.
Pocket this letter.
I think on leaving, the only thing I'd like to say to her is, it looks like you'll be having different employers soon. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry I had to be this way. That we, that's life, kind of thing.
She's saying nothing to you. She's just glaring daggers at you all.
Great. Tips, hats.
Flees out.
And I think I'll lock the door behind us as well. She can be locked in there.
Sure, yeah. So, Bricks and Silver, you are making your way back to the boats. I need some roll from Silver on how you're going to get back to the deck?
Okay. I think, what kind of roll? Is it to get Bricks there or to avoid people?
It's up to you. Whichever angle you want to take on it, it's up to you.
Right.
I mean, it kind of depends what the problems, what problems we encounter.
The problems you encounter are dependent on the roll you make. You tell me what roll you want to make to do it.
Okay, in that case, I'll choose Sway.
Sure.
Okay.
So you're trying to blag your way past whoever.
Yeah. Sure. I will offer you a devil's bargain of a tick of a clock.
No, I don't think so. Too many clocks have been ticked already.
Sure, yeah. There's 2 clocks that have been running all the way through this, and I'll tell you, some of them are pretty damn close now.
Nope.
I did get that sense.
One of them is just how close Nicholas is to killing his father.
Oh, don't give me ideas.
Am I able to assist, or am I just
no, you can do nothing.
Right.
And in fact, let's see if you're a hindrance rather than any kind of. Yeah, you are. You're kind of dead on your feet now. You're basically having to be half held up by Silver.
Yikes. Okay.
So I'm going to say this is actually a desperate roll, Sam. So go ahead and get your XP tick for it. And
nice.
Yeah. You pushing yourself or anything?
Let me look at my stress. Yes. just don't have much stress left, but hopefully you have much score left either. So I got a 6 as my highest result.
Okay, well that's good. You stumble your way through these kind of tunnel-like corridors, and on one occasion you think you know the way back to the deck, and on just one occasion you see kind of someone crossing a corridor in front of you, glances your way, and you kind of keep your head tucked down a little bit and gesture to Brooke you're helping along, and just, well, you tell me how you explain the situation.
If I'm explaining it, I'll say, he's drunk again. I got to get him back on watch. I'll just sit him up on the deck and he'll be fine.
The individual walking across calls out to you, the woman whose kind of face you never see. You kind of just barely glimpse, shouts, "Don't let the captain see him." You're on.
And it's lost in the wind. There's no response.
But you finally emerge up onto the deck, and you know what? I don't think we've crossed the deck successfully once already. I don't think we need to make any extra thing for it. And 3 sheets as well. You found your way to the cabin. Now I think you can find your way back up. Silver, are you heading over to the boat though before the others come up onto the deck? Just heading there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking might take Bricks longer to get down than the others, so we should try to make a head start.
Absolutely. The rain is still drumming down on the deck, and Bricks, this actually revives you slightly as you come up, sort of blinking in like wide-eyed pain at the flashes of lightning that are now kind of, the thunderstorm has rolled overhead, but the rain is still coming down hard, and the horizon is lit up by lightning strikes, and you can even think you can vaguely see the lights of Doskval in the distance from there. And in your kind of like reeling stupor, while you are finding your feet a bit more, you find yourself just kind of like reaching out with your hand, as it almost, you can see like the faint glow of the lightning barriers in the distance of Doskval, and it almost seems to you like those lightning barriers are kind of flickering oddly in a way that they definitely shouldn't be in the distance. But it's probably just your, those walls are strong; they'll never come down. And you stagger over the deck, accompanied by Silver, over to where the boat is. 3 sheets and Echo. I'm assuming there's nothing else you want to do. You are just heading out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I mean, Echo, has he got any expensive stuff?
Are you hanging around to loot the place?
I'm not inclined to. If Echo's not hanging around, I'm going to go.
Yeah, sure.
This mission could be made more profitable.
I'd say you actually catch up with Silver and Bricks halfway along that deck, because Bricks is slow going, and you find yourself over by that rope tied down. In the flashes, even though they're in the distance, you can still see the vague form of your barge down below, and kind of Odgar kind of waving up at you. I think we need one last roll. I think we need a roll to get down there, and it's to get Bricks out.
Yeah, I think. Go on, if you've got an idea, John.
I was going to say, I checked the rules section on level 3 harm, and it says that if I push myself, I can attempt to roll.
Okay, well, tell you what then. If you want to do that, rather than make everyone do a group action, I'm happy with that. If you want to push yourself to clamber down, and then if you're successful, that's all we'll need.
Sure.
And I'm going to say it's a desperate roll.
I think I'm happy to take that. Assuming as I push myself, I still get the 1 extra dice for the pushing.
Can I assist?
Yeah. I think you can assist, yeah.
I will assist, and I think I guess we'll tie the rope round
Yeah, I was wondering, could we do some kind of kind of rescue or style rope tying so we can lower Bricks down, which might be something that someone with finesse knowledge might know how to tie.
I mean, Bricks is making the roll, so...
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. You're right.
Rolling... Wait, not that many dice. Wait, that many dice, because I've pushed myself and I'm assisted. And I'm using finesse.
Okay,
because that's...
Yeah. That's appropriate to me.
6.
Nice.
Okay.
Badass.
Bricks, you managed to stay conscious and alert enough to scramble down that rope, and you find yourself, you collapse almost as soon as you get to the barge, kind of like sliding along the deck of it, and Odgar kind of like looking confused and resting you against the side, and then kind of looking down and looking wide-eyed at the very large crimson stain on your clothes. The others of you managed to get yourselves down to the boat without any incident, and it rolls away from the Leviathan hunter, almost kind of gently and quietly now as the rain just starts to ease off, and glide back towards Duskval. But we're not quite done there. There is another roll that needs to be made. Echo, you need to roll for securing this letter about your person. Because the first thing you see when you emerge back towards the coastline of Duskval is on a promontory near the other lighthouse, the North Hook Lighthouse. You see a familiar figure with a familiar fancy cane waving at your barge as it's coming in.
Right. I don't know. I guess this would be finesse.
Do we not have smuggling compartments on this ship?
Yeah, you probably do. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
I guess I'll use one of the trusty smuggling compartments, and presumably, yeah.
You can still make a roll.
Yeah, can do.
No, you know what? You're smugglers. No. I think it's absolutely fine for you to secure it aboard the ship somewhere. Just tuck it somewhere nice and discreet. And you know what? We will leave it there then. We'll leave it there with the barge rolling in towards the shore to involve Dolmore of a job well done. 3 sheets stepping off onto the tiered white stone platform and just mutely holding out the clay mask of Lord Lomond as proof of a job well done. Okay, let's go to our downtime, folks. So, first off, we have payoff. And the payoff on this is going to be... you know what? 10 coin.
That's okay.
High cost.
Okay.
So it's up to you how you want to divvy that up.
Well, we need to give 2 to the grinders.
Mm-hmm. 1 to the
And
wraiths. This
1
will
to
be
the
your
wraiths.
last one to the wraiths, by the way.
Good. So that's
3 months
7
have now
there.
passed.
So 1 each and 3 to the vault.
Can the vault hold that?
Yeah, because we've added a vault. We've got like an extra compartment to it.
Do we not have anything in the vault that we could take out and give to Silver to make it 2 each?
Yeah, there's currently 4 in the vault.
Some
So we
payment
could-
in lieu for Silver's being part of the team for previous jobs, even if they weren't on them.
I mean, is there payment for this?
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
2 each?
Yeah. I think if I'm getting 2, I think I'll give Bricks 1 of my 2 because he was hurt. And it was my fault for trying to secure the door rather than trying to take out the bodyguard.
Bricks won't argue.
Fair enough.
Keepers are starting to get guilty about things.
I mean,
This can't end well.
I'm just disappointed that we didn't get a moment with 3 sheets and cradling Bricks dying on the deck of a ship. But,
Sure.
you know, like, I want
There's
that.
still
I want
time.
that homoerotic scene. But you know,
Sure. So it sounds to me like everyone gets 2 to start with, and the vault is reduced by 1, and then Echo also loses 1, and Bricks gains another 1. So yeah. Okay. As far as rep goes, this is definitely a higher tier target. I would say, what will we rate him as? Probably 4. So that's going to be 5 rep altogether.
Ooh, well, we only have space in our tracker for 3.
Well, then we better start thinking about how you're going to level up. If you got the coin for it,
or smash some extra actions out or something. Or does that not work?
Well,
you gain the rep before you take actions. So I think it just has to fill up the tracker. And then heat. Now, here's the thing. I think it's such a controversial or like very remarkable thing to have done. I'm going to knock it because it was smooth and quiet, but I think I'm going to knock it up to 2 heat just because people will be talking about this.
Oh yeah.
Anytime anyone's talking, mouths open and information drops. So what does that leave your heat as, John?
3.
And you're wanted level 2, right?
Yep.
And does that tick down? Do we get our smugglers tick down of heat as well? Or is that included?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then we only need to have 2 heat.
Okay. Either way, okay. I've just rolled your entanglement. Let me have a brief look here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's go on to downtime activities. So the first person I'm going to ask those at is Bricks. I smell some healing coming over the horizon.
Yes.
That's the smell of Savlon.
Do we want to talk about with our full rep tracker? Does that happen now? Or does that happen at the end?
Oh, that's like a level up thing. Let's do that offline. I don't want to.
Okay.
Like.
I was wondering because I might spend some rep. But yeah, healing first.
You know what? No. I think it was a fair point. Like any rep. Yeah, let's say any rep you've gone over your tracker, you can spend on extra activities or level ups or whatever during this downtime activity. But if you don't, it's then lost. Does that sound fair? So how much
rep?
Is that 3 rep over, John?
2.
Okay. And whoever spends it first just gets it first.
Fair. Cool. Whoever wants to burn our reputation first.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, sorry, I'm trying to juggle 2 things at once. But so yeah, make your healing roll, please, John.
Okay. Can you remind me what it is I'm rolling for that? Is it
You're
just
rolling 1 die.
1 die?
Yeah.
Oh dear. That is
Can
a 1.
Can you spend a gold to increase the effect?
You can, but you do that after it's rolled anyway.
Oh, you got that gold from Echo.
Yeah, sure. What did you roll? Sorry.
1.
1. Okay. Well, that is going to be like 1 tick on your healing clock unless you spend some coin to improve it.
Spend a coin, which goes to 2 ticks.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You go see Red Silks, who they do what they can. But you have spent probably a couple of days by this point in extreme pain, and the wound seems to be starting to fester. So next up is just Bricks again. Oh no, we don't do it like that. Sorry, it's 3 sheets.
I'm going to do stress relief, and I rolled a 4, so I remove 4 stress.
Okay, a fairly satisfactory experience at the Red Lantern for you, wallowing in various kinds of illicit substances.
Down to 2 stress now.
Not too bad. Next up, we have Sam.
I'm going to also do some stress relief. I badly need it. And I rolled a 1.
Maybe
Ship's
you've
cat jumped aboard.
You know what? You go to Dundridge and Sons to purchase some new clothes to kind of relieve that stress, and it's some kind of festival day, and the main, like most of the nice clothes they have there are all a kind of like rich emerald green. You can't stand the sight of them now.
Yeah.
Not after your recent experiences. So Pierre, what are we doing?
I think I'm going to try some of the other smoke shops around
after Traven just spilled loads of beans to various
Sure.
authorities. And I rolled a 3, so it was kind of...
Was it Traven's fault?
It wasn't Traven's fault, but...
A middling experience. A middling experience.
Yeah, nothing compares. But at the same time...
So, next up we have Sam. More stress relief.
More stress relief.
Maybe going somewhere other than Dundridge for once.
Yeah, I might go to the market. I think that's
it's a night market. Let's go there instead. How do we do?
I rolled a 3, slightly better.
Slightly better. You find some clothes to purchase that at least aren't green. Maybe a red scarf or something along those lines.
I'll take it.
He'll take it. And next we have Pierre again.
I am going to visit Red Silks and see if I can get some more salves for my burns.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I roll 1 dice, right?
Correct.
I rolled a 3 again.
Okay, are you spending any coin on improving that?
So that would be 1 tick at the moment.
That would be 1 tick, and a coin would take it to 2 ticks.
I will spend a coin to take it to 2 ticks.
Okay.
And that leaves me... my burns heal, and I've got 1 left over. So
Okay.
So they're now just, I guess, scars or something.
What, have they just gone down to a tier 1?
They've gone down to a tier 1, yeah.
Yeah, just mild burns or healing burns or whatever you want to call them. We definitely do need folks. I know I keep saying this, but please do bring up that you have harm that could affect your rolls, because I can't see your sheets. So
Sure.
So next up we have Justin.
I'm in a very strange position of not really having any pressing issues, which means that I would like to go back to my old long-term project of tracking down Steiner, using perhaps a consort roll.
Oh, consort, whatever you want.
Because I'm now better at consorting since the last time I was doing this.
Fair enough.
And I rolled a 5.
Okay, that is 2 segments on the Steiner project. How is that doing, John? I don't think we had much progress on it yet, but I could be
That
wrong.
is now at 6 out of 8.
Oh, okay. That's better than I thought. Yeah, Steiner hasn't been particularly active lately, from what you know, but you know what? All clues do point to that. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say we had found that weird powder residue from where he'd been
on
shooting
the rooftops.
From. The rooftop. So maybe that could be worked into what we.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you find that is a unique kind of powder that tends to be used by people. I'm getting somewhere, I promise. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a particular thing. It tends to be used by Taikarosi folk. It's of a make that originates in that far-flung demonic land. Maybe there's a link there. Maybe there's something you can put together there in the future. Bricks. Healing.
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 And try a different die. 6.
There we go. So that's 3 ticks, I believe.
Okay.
So that drops you for... Yeah, so you can just put, healing stomach wound on... or healing gut wound on level 2, right?
Yeah, level 2 and with 1 segment already completed. They take over like that?
Yeah, they do take over like that, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we have that 2 rep left to spend for additional actions. I don't know how we want to do that, whether someone just the first person to shout up, you know?
There's no particular actions they'd like to do. Any long projects, healing.
Healing.
I was going to go with stress relief.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. All right, well, let's do a stress relief for Bricks.
Okay, that and that. Let's see if Marlene's still on her streak. 6? Yes, she is.
Okay, you managed to heave yourself down to Iron Hook Prison for a little bit of the old dabbling on the outcomes of the fighting pits. Quite successfully. We have one more essentially free action, folks.
What about trying to improve Red Silk's? Bring him better equipment, which is a long-term project that
it is.
I was working on.
Have we got many ticks in that already? Or
we've got, I think, 2 ticks, or it's a quarter done, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, we're on 2 out of 8.
So, unless anyone else has any better ideas.
It sounds like it's you, Pierre.
Yep. Okay.
So first people to shout out.
Well, I'm rolling. It was a 5.
Okay, so that is 2 extra ticks. You managed to steal some more supplies for Red Silks. So, the only other thing I'd say is we do have an entanglement. That entanglement is that essentially a member of a gang called the Crows, who, unsurprisingly, you haven't really had any dealing with, but they're a notorious gang who are one of the main gangs to control Crowsfoot, unsurprisingly, which is the hive of scum and villainy at the heart of Doskvol. They've expressed some discontent and seem to be leaning quite hard on Cersei of the Grinders, and kind of threatening to reduce payments going to them and work done with them and the like, because it seems that they're harboring a crew of individuals who are letting one of their member just wander the city willy-nilly, knifing whoever they please. And they essentially want assurances that this matter is going to be under control. What that works out mechanically as is that you need to either tell the Crows to fuck off and lose 1 rep with them, which would move them to -1, or you need to forfeit 1 rep or 1 coin per tier of them to kind of capitulate, to make a public, sense of saying, we're sorry, we won't interfere in any Crow business or anything like that. It's all done now. It's all sorted, that kind of thing. And so, their tier is 2. So you need to either spend 2 rep or 2 coin, or a rep and a coin.
I can cough up a coin.
But it can come from the crew.
That's true.
The vault.
Yeah, there's still 3 in the coffers.
Sounds like that's what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2 coin from the coffers to offer reparations to the Crows, who you didn't even do anything to, and neither did Nicholas. But clearly they felt that, some kind of thing had affected.
But we need to get some more turf soon so that people stop pushing us around,
You do. But there we go. I think that's the end of the session, folks. There's still XP and things to do, but we tend to do those offline. So there we go. If you've got any comments or questions, please fling them in the chat, and Steve, our stream manager, will pop them up for us. As my cat you'd think he hasn't been fed. He has been fed exactly the right amount today for whatever he needs. So, promo, while we field any comments or questions, look down below. There's a bunch of links to YouTube and Twitch. You're watching on one, please check out the other, to our social media, to our Discord, to our Patreon, all of which do the things that those things do. We run 3 weekly shows, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8:00 p.m. BST. Mondays is Call of Cthulhu, Tuesdays is Blades in the Dark, and Wednesdays is Simbroom. We also run one-shot streams on the first Saturday of every month, the most recent of which was Dungeon World, which Pierre down there ran. I'm terrible at this, down there. The VODs for those will be up later in the week on YouTube, and the VODs for all the other ones that we've done are already there. We had a new follower today, I Spit Stories, which was nice. We also, quite briefly in the chat, and I probably should have said at the time, had John Harper, who created Blades in the Dark, who complimented 3 Sheets' name. So there we go. That was lovely. Look at that. It's lovely. Should have acknowledged that for the time, for the kind of social cash that would have Done. Lord Malice, the character creation video was hilarious. So much fun. Glad you enjoyed it. Yes, for our £5 plus patrons, the character creation video for this went live today. So glad you enjoyed it, Malice. 42, having watched the character creation video, I've had more people enjoying it. Does the gang regret choosing wild, unreliable henchmen?
Not at all. That's the best part of the whole thing.
I think in character, yes, definitely. Out of character, no, not at all. It's very funny.
The wild, unreliable veteran to go with the wild and unreliable crew. Like, it's,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. We can't expect.
Say you're sorry.
Don't
Does not look sorry.
We have to lead by example, and you know, Nicholas's only role models are a knifing ex, sailor, a man who goes to the docks and beats the crap out of people.
Yeah,
Two very weird people creature, and Silver, who's actually just fine.
Come on.
Sure.
Normal.
I mean, Silver earlier today did say, just knife them and get it over with. So I'm not sure that's fine in
But
any
it's
realistic
What are you
sense of the
talking
word,
about?
but It's
Silver's
Dosball
very
fine,
nice.
to be fair. Dosball fine. There we go, folks. Oh, and John has said in private chat, you did another heal with coin, right? So
I'm going to, yeah.
you're going to do it.
Go
So
off stream.
that's a thing. But thanks very much for watching, folks. Thanks to my players. Thanks to Steve, our wonderful stream manager. We hope you enjoyed this score. It's felt big, like a big meta plotty thing. So that's rather nice. And we'll catch you next week for more Blades in the Dark. See you then.
Cool.
Bye-bye. Take care.